always wanted to film a video like this. I'm so excited. The goal is to do a front-facing tutorial. We're making this hat. I got the materials right here and let's get right into it. I already have 2 of them done, so the entire hat you need 5 of them. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make each square and attach them. So I'm going to show you everything. We're just getting it from a different angle, and I'm also going to talk you through it. This is a really great scrap yarn project. I do have some scrap yarn here. Sometimes there's a lot of yarn, but I consider scrap yarn anything that's not like a fresh new ball. I like to take colors that I have and see how they match and add them together. I really like this blue and white combo. I do have the timer going on the back, but I also have a lot of background noise. I have it here so you can have a relative feel on how long it takes to get the project done. But because I'm filming, I do have to stop whenever there's background noise and restart. So it does add to the time of the actual project. Okay, so right now I'm using Karen Simply Soft. I believe this is a navy. I'm gonna start with a slip knot and we're gonna chain 4. I am using a 3.5 millimeter hook. And like I said, this is Karen Simply Soft in navy blue. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4. After you're done with your chain, you're going to insert your hook into the first chain and do a slip knot. And this is how I make my magic circle. So basically, once you connect the chain 4, there is a little itty bitty teensy hole that you can't really see. If I show you, I don't think you could see it. But basically, you go into the center of the chain 4. I personally don't like using the magic circle. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just like to do the chain 4 and slip stitch to join. So just do what works best for you. If you know how to use a magic circle, you can substitute a magic circle for this step instead. Next, you're going to chain 3. Chain 3 does count as a stitch. Okay, so this is where we're at now. So after you chain 3, you're going to insert 2 double crochet into the hole of the magic circle or the chain 4 slip stitch. Okay, so that's 2 double crochet and then you have something like that. Then after you have your chain 3, which counts as a stitch, and then 2 double crochet, that makes 3 double crochet in total. So after you've done that, you're going to chain 1 and into the same hole, you're going to insert 3 more double crochet. And then you're going to chain 1 and insert 3 more double crochet into the same circle. So now you'll have like 3 clusters of 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then you'll chain 1 more time and insert 3 more double crochet all into that same hole. And then you'll have something that looks like this. Once you're done with that, you'll chain 1 again and slip stitch to join. If I get like the hang of this, talking and explaining, I will also answer some questions that I have written down. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to multitask like that, but back to the tutorial. We're going to follow the pattern that I'm doing. We are now going to change colors to white. If you want to keep your hat all solid, you don't need to change colors. Skip this step. So you can change colors at any time you'd like. I'm only using 2 colors for this hat. Next color we're going to take is this creamish color. If you have a center pull, make sure you're pulling from the center because that's always better. Even if you're pulling from the center, stuff like that can still happen. Always still better to pull from the center, okay? Even if stuff like that happens. Stuff like this usually doesn't happen when you pull from the center, but when you're crocheting, anything can happen, okay? So take your second color and just get it prepared and put it to the side. So we just slip stitch to join at the top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. Sometimes I say row and round interchangeably. I'm so sorry, but when you're working in like a circle or something continuous, it's round and not row. It's a row when it's back and forth like that. We slip stitch to join, and then we are going to chain up 1 and pull up a loop, and we're also going to cut. Then you have something that looks like this, okay? So whenever I'm switching colors, I always make sure to weave in my tail ends as I go. So when I weave in my tail ends, I just put my hook back and forth through the top of the stitches over and over again. And then I just get the yarn around my hook and I pull it through. So that's how I weave in my ends. And the excess yarn, I just cut it now because then you don't have to cut it later. I always do that for the first round, but you can see here for the other rounds, I don't. I did end up making another square because there was just way too much noise in the background and I didn't want to stop making the project. You are going to take your next color. So for me, that is this cream color. I don't want to deal with this right now. So what I do, because it's so tangled like this, what I do is I cut it about right here. And basically I'd untangle this later. And this is how you avoid making yourself frustrated and giving up on your project. So I'm just gonna safely put this away in the box with my other scrap yarn. And we're going to continue like it never happened. And it happened again. Snip it right off, put it away, never happened. And now, as you can see, I have my center pull for as long as it allows me to have it like that. Take my circle, and now you can insert your hook in any of the chain 1 spaces. So I insert my hook, put my yarn over and leave a tail end like that. And then I pull up a loop and then I chain 3. This again counts as a double crochet. So we have the little tail here and we're actually not going to work it in this round. We're going to work it in the next round. So just let it hang for now. And granny squares are great. They're really buildable. You basically do the same thing over and over again. So just how we started the other one, in the same chain 1 space, we're going to insert 1 double crochet and then we're going to insert 1 more double crochet. So this gives a total of 3 double crochet because, like I said, the chain 3 counts as a stitch. Cool. So then chain 1 and then find your next chain space and insert 3 double crochet into that space like that. And then you're going to chain 1 and insert 3 more double crochet into that same exact chain space. So if you're following along, you should have something that looks like this. Try to put my hands there. Chain 1 and then 3 double crochet in the next chain space. Pretty sure you're getting the pattern by now. Chain 1 and 3 double crochet into the same chain space you just went into. Chain 1 and then 3 double crochet into the next chain space. Chain 1, 3 double crochet into the same chain space you were just in. Chain 1, and then finally, to end off the round, in the first chain space you started in, put 3 more double crochet. And after you finish that, again you'll chain 1 and then we slip stitch to join at the top of the first chain 3. So if you look at my square, we don't change color. So if you're changing color, change it the same way we just did, but I'm not changing color yet. We'll change again in the next row, but we're going to continue on with the white. So we're going to chain up 3 and turn our work, and in the same chain space right underneath your chain 3, you're going to insert 2 double crochet. So same thing. Now you have 3 double crochet in this corner. You're going to chain 1, and then in the chain space right here, you're going to insert 3 double crochet. Okay, and then chain 1, and then in the next chain space 3 double crochet and chain 1. So whenever you get to a corner, right, so it's a square, corner, 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 you always go into the chain space twice, right? So I just did 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then I'm going to insert 3 more double crochet. So that's how you know when you're going to go back into the same chain space. When it's not a corner, like right here, you just do it 1 time, right? So we just did our 3 double crochet. We're going to chain 1 and then insert 3 more double crochet into the next chain space. So now the next chain space is a corner right over here. So that means we're going to do it twice. And that's basically the rule for any granny square. So we're going to chain 1 and we're going into the corner. So that means 3 double crochet and chain 1 and into the same exact stitch or chain 1 space, 3 more double crochet, and then you just made another corner. So chain 1, it's not a corner, so just 3 double crochet, and then chain 1, it is a corner, so you're going to do your 3 double crochet, your chain 1, oop, lost my hook, and 3 more double crochet. Okay, and then we have chain 1, 3 double crochet in the last chain stitch, chain 1, and in the first chain stitch you started in, 3 more double crochet, chain 1, and slip stitch to join at the beginning of the chain 3. Okay, so following the pattern, I did 2 rounds of white and then I go back to the navy blue. So it is going to be a little bit easier. It is hard to see on white a lot of the time. So I'm going to chain up 1 and draw up some yarn, then cut. I forgot to actually work in the tail end, this one that we started with, as I was working, but it's fine because you can just work it in afterwards. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now, where I can hide it. And I'm just pulling it through like that. For the other tail end, this is when I would start to work it through. So this is the one we just cut. Just like I did with the blue, I'm going to start like far away from the tail. So the tail's here. I'm going to insert my hook like somewhere around here. And I'm just going to insert front, front and back in between all of the top of the double crochet stitches, or as many of them as I can get. Don't make this difficult, just wherever your just wherever your hook naturally goes, and it's going to look something like that, all bunched up. Then you're going to take the yarn and wrap it over and just pull it all through. Okay, like that. Just pull it through. And when you release it, it's all weaved in into all of those stitches like that. I would suggest go ahead and cut it. Like I said, sometimes I don't always do that, but it would be a smart idea to do it now so you don't have to do it later. So I'm going to show you how to switch colors one more time and then we'll be done with the square. I'm confident you have a hang of it by now. So I just insert my hook into any of the corner stitches, put the yarn over my hook, leaving a bit of a tail end like that with the next color. Then I pull up a loop and then chain up 3, double crochet. This counts as a double crochet. So in this same chain 1 space that we just inserted our hook in, you can leave this tail hanging, insert 2 double crochet, making a total of 3 double crochet, including the chain 3. And now it's just the same row. So you're going to chain 1, and this is a chain 1 space, not a corner. So you're going to insert 3 double crochet, and then you're going to chain 1 space, not a corner, and you're going to insert 3 double crochet, chain 1. This is a corner, right? You can see it, it's a corner. So we are going to insert 3 double crochet. Let me find the corner, the chain 1 space. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, and then 3 double crochet again in the same exact spot. Now I feel like we got the hang of it. I'm going to try and see if I can answer some questions now, because this is going to get a little too repetitive. So let me get a good one. So the question is, how do you choose your crochet projects? Is it based off of difficulty, style, or something else? And this is a really good question. So how I choose my crochet projects, I'd say it's based off of circumstance. So I don't always crochet for myself. I sell my crochet. I also gift my crochet. Sometimes I'm teaching people, and then sometimes I'm making it for myself. So based off the circumstance is how I choose my crochet project. So right now I'm trying to build inventory because I will have some markets coming up. So right now I know that my hats are my best sellers. They're also really fun to make. So that's why I'm making hats right now. If we want to take it like a level deeper, how do I choose the colors? I basically go based off what I think looks nice, And if I don't think it looks nice, I'll rearrange it and try again. So next question. Have you ever crocheted your own crochet pattern? If so, what is it? So I consider all of my videos, not all of them, sorry. I consider a lot of my video tutorials to be patterns, but I'm not sure if this question refers to like a written pattern. If that's true, I only have one, and I myself don't personally like reading written patterns. Therefore, I find it very difficult to write a written pattern. So I made one. I don't even know how long ago. I think it was this past summer, and it was so, I don't know, I struggled a lot to get it done, but I got it done. It's up on my Etsy. The sunflower crochet bucket hat, which I also have a video tutorial on, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to write another written pattern just because I'm not sure if that's my forte or if that's what people want from me. I personally enjoy the video tutorials a lot better, and those are also almost equally as difficult, just more enjoyable. So yes, and that's the only written pattern I have, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any more. Next question is, are there any crochet styles or trends that I'm excited about? So when it comes to trends, I'm not really like hip to the crochet trends, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like they can come and go. So if I can think of anything, I know there was like that cloud bag that was really big at one point. Those frog hats were really big. And just because crochet takes so long to do, it's kind of like by the time you learn how to crochet the trend, it's probably over by the time you learn it and complete the project. So I wouldn't suggest chasing trends because time-wise, it just doesn't always make sense unless you're really fast. I'm not that fast, or even if I was, I wouldn't really want to like stress myself out. Crochet is more of like a peaceful thing for me, or at least I try to make it that way. So trends, not really sure because I'm too late to them to keep up. I guess this is twofold, because if the trend's not my style, then I'm definitely not doing it. And when I say definitely not doing it, I mean for fun. Like if it's someone who ordered it from me or someone I know who really wanted it, sure, then I consider it. But I wouldn't necessarily do like a trend that's not my style just to do the trend, if that makes sense. Back to the tutorial. Finished the square, so I did 2 rounds of the navy, and now I'm going to show you how to connect the squares. So basically you take any one of the squares as you go, they'll be like stacked on top of each other. So now I have 3 of them like this. So I'm just going to take this side, and you can see I single crochet it together. So you want to make sure that the single crochet is facing towards you, right? So they're all facing on the same way. So I'm going to take the square I just finished and the yarn, right? So I just slip stitch to join. That's how I finished the granny square. And then I'm going to sandwich them together like this, right? When I go like this, the single crochets are facing me, and you want them all facing the same way. So when you connect the hat together, all the single crochets are facing on one side. You can slip stitch to join. That's not what I do. I never do that. I don't like joining with slip stitches. I like joining with single crochet. That's just me. So if you're following my tutorial, I suggest you do single crochet. It gives more stretch. This is the one that's not connected. I put it like this, and then I insert my hook into the chain 1 space of the one behind it, and then I insert my hook into the loop, the yarn loop, right? We haven't cut the yarn. So from here, I pull on it, and this brings them together. So now I have my yarn through the chain space and the loop, and I just pull up the loop. From there, I chain 1, and I literally just line up the stitches like that, and I single crochet all the way down. So you can line your stitches up exactly if you'd like. The best way to know that they're lined up pretty perfectly is if you line up the chain spaces. So this chain space is going through both of them. As long as your chain spaces line up, there's no way that this is going to be crooked or uneven at all. So I use my chain spaces as a guide to know that I'm doing the right thing. But another way to know is there's 3 double crochet in between each chain space. You can also think I need to do 3 single crochets, and after I finish 3 single crochets, I should be at the chain 1 space. And you also insert a single crochet into the chain 1 space. So all of the stitches all the way down, you just insert a single crochet, even into the very last chain space at the bottom. So connect with a single crochet and it will look like that. After you insert your last single crochet, chain up 1 and cut. And then you're going to weave in your ends. So I weave in all my ends the same way. I just put my hook back and forth and back and forth, yarn over and pull through, and then I'll tug on it and then the stitch is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. We need 1 more. The thing is, with the last square, you are going to make 4 rounds instead of 5. So all of these squares have 1 navy, 2, 3 in white, and rounds 4, 5 in navy. So for the square at the top, I just do blue, white, white, blue. That's it. So 4 rounds instead of 5, but it's just, everything else is the same. Just don't do the 5th round. So I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, I'm back. Completed the granny square, slip stitch to join in the first chain 3. Can't find my scissors right now, so I'm not cutting the loose ends. So please excuse those, and please a train. Okay, I'm gonna let the train go. It shouldn't take too long. I'll be right back. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. These are perfect learning lessons to show you how to fix something if you make a mistake. So you can see here, there's no single crochet, but here there's a single crochet, and then again here there's no single crochet. So basically I messed up, but that means only that, ooh, this, anyways, this color is actually really cute, maybe for a sweater or something else. This would look so cute on my shirt. I'm kind of liking this. Anyways, just this stitch is wrong, but the other 2 are right. So what I'm going to do is undo this stitch, the only one that's facing the wrong way. So, and pull it out because all the other ones are correct. So you can see single crochet and single crochet, and then I'm gonna put them like this. So single crochet over here and single crochet over there. And now I'm gonna do what we did before. So insert my hook into the chain 1 space, and then insert my hook into the loop. So here's the loop, and here's the yarn that it is cut because I already cut it. So using the same exact yarn, and then I'm gonna pull up a loop, chain 1. You don't need to do that chain 1, but sometimes I do. And just single crochet all the way down like you did before. Okay, so I'm done. And again, I'm going to weave in that tail end. While the train was going and all that background noise was going, I finished this last square and I just pulled out one of the double crochets, but it's okay. I'm gonna fix that right now. And so here is our completed top square. If I made the other round, so 5 rounds for the top square, the hat would be too big. So we're going to take this again, and you want the single crochets facing on the outside. So this time I actually keep the hook in, and I insert my hook underneath one of the chain 1 spaces in the corner, and we're going to make single crochets along this side, because remember the single crochets are showing here, so you want them to show here. So because this square is a little bit smaller, you can already see, you do want to slightly pull it. So this square ends here, but this one ends up here. So you want to slightly pull it taut while you're crocheting it to make them line up, okay? So just make sure it goes corner to corner so you can get them lined up. The top square with the 4 rounds will definitely be like stretched out a little bit. So just make sure the first corner and the last corner line up on all the edges, and you'll be good. So it may look like it's bunching up just a little bit. Don't worry, because they're similar in size where it really won't make a difference once it's done. But it may feel slightly uncomfortable while you're doing it. You do not want to be tugging really, really hard. It's literally just enough so the corner chain one spaces line up. So this is what it looks like. My two corners are touching, and then you basically want to go like that. So this edge is going to connect to this edge. This is what we have now. So you see the edges are coming together. So next, this edge is going to connect with this edge, right? So like that. And I basically just fold them like a little sandwich so I can connect them all. All right, so the next side has been connected, and it's gonna start making like this enclosed dome shape. So that means we just have this last edge connected to this last top edge. So we're connecting all of the sides of the center square to all the top edges of the squares that were in a line. I'm so sorry if this is confusing, but yeah, I hope it's making sense. But basically, this is the last edge that we're going to connect like that. And I'll show you what it's like when we're done. Okay. So now you'll have something that looks like this. This is a square with 4, right? And all the squares around it have 5, and then you'll have a little flap like this. I'm going to single crochet these 2 sides of this square together, and we're gonna have a cute little box. The reason I wasn't answering questions during this or filming this part is, I don't know, I just felt like I was gonna make a weird mistake. Like I said, every time I try to film and talk, stuff always goes so weird. So I just wanted to focus a little bit on this, and when we get to the brim of the hat, I'll try to answer a couple more questions. So I'm done, and since these squares were the same, I stitched them together just like we did at the start when we were crocheting the 5 round granny squares together. So from here, once you get into the last chain 1 space to connect the last 2 squares, we're going to chain up 3, and again it counts as a double crochet. So now we're going to insert 1 double crochet in each and every stitch around I guess this is the base of the brim of the hat. So even in the chain 1 spaces, you're going to go ahead and insert 1 double crochet all the way around. If I can get another question in, how has crochet positively impacted your life? So I really like this question too. So how has crochet positively impacted my life? It has taught me, or maybe not taught me, but it's reinforced resilience. When you complete something, you just feel really good about it. And I feel like it's guaranteed delayed gratification, because no matter what you make, no matter how small it is, it's still going to take like a good amount of time. It doesn't mean it's going to take hours and hours or days and days and months, but you definitely need to put in some effort and some time before you get a completed project. So in that way, it constantly reinforces how like valuable and powerful that is, to not continuously get instant gratification. What's the question again? Positively impacted my life. Yeah. So reinforcing delayed gratification and how rewarding it can be and how fun it can be. So that being said, I have a project that I referred to in my last video, and I said I wanted to get it done by December 12th. I'm pretty sure it's January now. I don't know what date it is, but it's January. So December 12th is long gone, and I have not completed it. I have not really touched it, and that's just because I've just been struggling with how to figure it out. So I freestyle almost everything I crochet. Like I may like start a tutorial to get some inspiration, but like the overall project and everything I complete is usually just on myself. So sometimes projects never get finished. I have to frog them like a bunch of times before I finish them. And with that being said, I guess that's another positive thing, is learning to give myself grace and learning how to take breaks, right? So I know from experience that I'm going to feel great when I finish it. At least I hope I will. I will. And even if I don't, it's still okay. This is probably another positive thing that I've got from crochet. Even if the project doesn't come out good, I've really learned how to repurpose things. So there's projects that I've like refurbished 2 years later, 3 years later, and I actually like them way better than when I first did them. An example is cable twist sweater, right? I turned it into a cable twist dress, and I actually like the dress so much better than the sweater. There's nothing wrong with the sweater, but it wasn't really giving me that oomph, that feeling that I wanted. So when I revisited it maybe like a year or two later and I transformed it into something else, I was just like, wow, like, you know, maybe all those hours and all that time spent wasn't in vain. So it's just like, even if you have like a failed project or you take a really long break, it's like if you just let yourself be creative and just be patient and like just know that you can revisit something later, like you can be so amazed what can come out of it. Like you never know what's gonna happen, and I feel like that's a positive thing I've learned. Hat's almost done, really want to get it done. So I just did a round of double crochet, one in every stitch, right? Next row is super cool, super easy. We're gonna chain up 3. Oh, and I slip stitch to join in the top of the first chain 3, right? So next round, we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to insert 2 double crochet in every stitch, right? So just put an increase in every stitch around. So we're just doubling it. Super chill, super simple. And let's see if we can get another question. How do you organize your yarn stash and your crochet supplies? So I'm working on that. I'm continuously always figuring out different ways. Right now, this basket actually has a bunch of yarn that's like really big. Like, you know, when you get those really big things of yarn and they're kind of hard to stash away, I kind of have them like just in there. And then I don't know if you can tell, but I'll show you. I don't really use these, but these are like my super huge crochet hook. I don't even know what size this is. Does it even tell me? I literally have no idea. That's crazy. I'd have to search it up. But this one is a 19. I think this one's a 25. Basically, my answer to this question is this is a work in progress. Like, I always have different ways. Like, I have some of these like clear bins right now. This just has some granny squares. Like, these are more hats that I'm making. I just want to try out new patterns. So basically what I do is I like make a different colorway, see if I like it. If I like it, I'll add the square in here, then I'll make more squares and I'll turn it into a hat. So that's exactly what happened with this one. I liked it, so I turned it into a hat. And like scrap yarn. So for this square that I like, it's in a box like this. And then the yarn for it is in a box like this. This is some of the yarn that you saw me like put away. So later I'll go and ball it up either in my yarn winder or I'll actually ball it up by hand and then I'll stash it away. I really like using organza bags as well. That's actually what I use to ship out my orders. Those are really, really great to use. I think this would have to be a separate video just because I'm still figuring this one out myself as well. After inserting 2 double crochets in every stitch, you're going to slip stitch to join at the first chain 3. All right, and then chain 3 again. This is our final row. Super easy. Insert 1 double crochet into each and every stitch. And when you get to the end of the row, like we always do, slip stitch to join at the top of the chain 3, and then we're done. I don't know if I'm going to consider this a tutorial or a crochet with me. I do really like this style of video. We'll see how I feel when I'm editing, if I still like this style. But I also feel like it's a cool way to document what's going on, because I crochet a lot. I do want to get into the habit of recording more just for my own memory and to share with you all, to give inspiration. Sometimes I don't get photos because just a lot goes on. So honestly, filming is a whole nother thing to add, but I feel like with more practice it will get easier. So that's what I'm going to try to do and get it out to you. if I don't come back because it is getting late. I really do hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. Let me know if you were able to make this hat. If not, I'm so sorry, but I hope the questions that I answered were worth your while. And I'm definitely going to try this again if it didn't go well. But see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. So basically, I finished all the single crochet, slip stitch to join, chain up one and cut the yarn. And then from there, all you really have to do is weave in your ends, but your hat is done. Let's see if I can try it on. The pigtails, the pigtails aren't really helping right now, but I need to have them a little bit lower, and this end is not weaved in, but this is basically what we're looking at. Time check, it's basically 9:30. I don't remember when we started, but we're done. I just weave in my ends and put on my product tag, and this is the final result.